Okay, Rich Van Tassel back with you on the Rich Van Tassel Show and the Rich Van Tassel channel on my YouTube channel, so you can check that out as well. We're again going to be breaking down yesterday's game. The Indianapolis Colts beat the Houston Texans 27-20, and then we're going to give you the picks for this week's games coming up. So we'll start with last night's game. The Colts won 27-20. Andrew Luck did not go. There were some conflicting reports with the injury situation coming into that game. A lot of people had him going. I saw originally when I gave you the pick yesterday that he was not going to go, but he was listed as questionable, so he ended up not going. Matt Hasselbeck in his place played very well, was 18 of 29 for 213 yards and 2 touchdowns, did not throw any interceptions. Frank Gore, the more they give him the ball, the better they're going to do. He was very effective, 22 carries, 98 yards. That's 4.5 yards per pop. And receiving wise, Andre Johnson was 6 receptions for 77 yards, had 2 touchdowns. T.Y. Hilton, 5 receptions for 88 yards. Didn't have any touchdowns. He had a big catch late that sealed the game. Now, for the Texans, Ryan Mallett started the game. He was knocked out for a little bit. Looked like he had the wind knocked out of him, and that's what prevented him from going. He had to come out of the game, which he did, and did not get a chance to go back in. Brian Hoyer, who took over for him, went 24 of 31 for 312 yards, 2 touchdowns, but the 1 interception was costly. It basically ended the game for him. Arian Foster was not very good running. He was 19 carries for 41 yards. That's 2.2 yards per carry. Alfred Blue was 6 for 22, which is 3.7. Altogether, they were 28 of 82, which is not even 3 yards per carry. And 14 of those yards came on a single carry by Brian Hoyer. DeAndre Hopkins had a very good game, 11 receptions, 169 yards. It wasn't unexpected. We knew that Indianapolis has a poor secondary. We discussed that yesterday, and that is what happened. But did not have any touchdowns, so had a penalty on the final drive as well, an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty that probably cost them certainly the yardage. It ended up leading to the interception that ended the game. So it's hard to tell if that was directly a direct result, but 15 yards is big in that situation. But with that, we need to discuss the officiating. I thought it was terrible last night. Way too many calls on the passing on both sides of the ball, mostly against Houston. Just too many, illegal contacts, holds, just the ticky-tack stuff that goes on down the field. It has really made it difficult for guys to play defense in this league. And it was a drive that Indianapolis ended up scoring a touchdown on. And it was late in the game. It was a big touchdown. They got about 3 first downs just off of penalties. These stupid 5-yard penalties that, sometimes it happens away from the ball. Now, one of them, that was an interception. The hold was on the guy who was running down the field. I still thought it was ticky-tack. That's where it occurred. So it was the guy who the pass was intended for. Now, we've discussed this at length on my YouTube channel that I think that the NFL overregulates things. The reason they got the illegal contact rule was in the 2003, I believe it was, AFC Championship game. The officiating was just horrendous. It was the Indianapolis Colts with Peyton Manning at the quarterback at the time. The Marvin Harrison, Edgerrin James, Reggie Wayne teams, for those of you who can remember. They were playing the New England Patriots, and Ty Law was just mauling the wide receivers all game long, and the officials didn't call it. Now, instead of just making their officiating better and saying you need to adjust and make sure you call pass interferences down the field, what they did was they instituted the illegal contact rule. And when you're trying to, especially when you're trying to prevent all these injuries and headshots on guys that go on down the field, if you're not allowed to make contact with a guy after 5 yards, he can get to full sprint. Okay, he starts running and he's gone, and you're not really slowing him down. Now, if you're not able to touch him, you have to have these safeties then close the distance. We're likely playing further downfield because these guys are so fast. And when you throw the ball over the middle, that's when you have these big collisions. So instead of, like we discussed before, of just having it where the players are allowed to make contact, not maul the guys, but just have physical contact down the field. And if they make, If they go overboard, then you throw the flag for pass interference, or you could even have an illegal contact in that sense, but just don't have it where it's just any contact after 5 yards. I'd like to see it where it's 5 yards after 5 yards, but the ball has to be in the air to have an illegal contact, or just do away with the illegal contact and have pass interference. It's a shame that we got to keep talking about officiating, but and just the rules the NFL has, but that's the way it is. But again, if you were to allow that, you wouldn't have these guys running full speed over the middle of the field where safeties can just rock them. So we just wanted to make that little side note. Again, Indianapolis after the 0-2 start is now 3-2, so they're starting to get their groove going. And with Andrew Luck coming back, it should be effective. Houston continues to let me down this year. The defense, J.J. Watt was joining a lot of the double teams, which is not unsuspected. Jadeveon Clowney has not lived up to the billing, and it's just been poor effort all the way around for the Houston Texans this year. I was expecting a whole lot more. As bad as their quarterback play is, that's not even the reason why I put them in the playoffs. I put them in the playoffs because of their defense, which is just not playing well. So they're now 1-4. We'll see what happens with their quarterback position, whether they go back to Brian Hoyer or they continue with Ryan Mallett. But that'll continue. So there will certainly be the question mark. So. Just a little quick baseball update we just saw. We'll check again real fast. It looks like Toronto does have the lead over Texas. They've retaken the lead in the top of the 8th, 4-3. There's a runner on second with 2 outs as of right now for Texas. They're at bat. So Toronto definitely leads that game. So that's it for that right now. We will continue in just a couple minutes. We'll start breaking down the games for this Sunday for you. So be sure to stay tuned to that here on 90.5 Brookdale Student Radio, as well as my YouTube channel, The Rich Fantastic. So just stay tuned. We'll see you in a little bit.